Welcome to the Solemn YuGiOh channel where we discuss everything collecting and investing in Yu-Gi-Oh! Today we are having a little bit of a mail day from the last week, I want to say. This way you can see what I'm buying, what I'm interested in, what I'm investing in, and maybe that can help your purchases, or maybe it doesn't, I don't know. Maybe you just want to see some really epic cards. So first of all, we have Revival Gem. I want to say this arrived last week, maybe the week before that, so I don't have the actual package here, but there is no mega stonks idea here. I didn't buy this thinking, whoa, look at me, I'm investing, you guys. It's just, I love this card. I remember seeing the episode of, was it called, was he Strings or String? I don't know, some name like that, the bald guy playing with Slifer against Yugi. That duel was so epic and I fell in love with this card. If you've seen my set where I usually record my videos, you've seen my actual childhood copy of Revival Jam in my screw down case. It's completely destroyed, and so I just really wanted to have the PSA 10 variant as well. So it's here now, very excited to own it. Do I believe it'll eventually appreciate in value? Sure, I think LON as a whole is still extremely cheap. Like, it is ridiculous how cheap you can still get 10s and 9s and even raws of this set. But do I think it's gonna be an LOB or anything like that? Absolutely not. It's just a really epic set with really edgy monsters. And you know, as well as the masks and so forth. So just a lot of cool stuff in there. So for the next card that I got in, this has a story to it. So this is an unlimited but original print from 2002 or whatever, back then essentially. You can see it in the text box. An original print, Blue Eyes White Dragon from LOB, foil shifted downwards. I don't know if you see that right here, but trust me on this. It's only an 8, but I just wanted to own it. And so what happened was 6 months ago, I ordered this card. Yeah, half a year ago, and it never arrived. So after waiting for a long time, I hit up the seller, I got my money back and so forth, and then 6 months later, it suddenly arrives on my doorstep. Like, what happened? Did this go lost in some black hole and then just ported back? Like, what the hell happened? And so, of course, I contacted the seller. He still actually needs to send me the invoice to repay that, because obviously, like, sure, I got my money back, but I got the card now, so now I need to pay it. Still waiting for that one on PayPal. So if you, the seller, are watching, hit me up with that PayPal invoice. But so yeah, this is, again, Unlim is very risky. It's not that I hate Unlim. It's not that I think no one should buy Unlim, but if you are buying Unlim, know that the modern ones are so not rare at all. And that makes it so the pressure on the old ones, I don't know, as people basically grow up and mature, they will realize, damn, it's really hard to see the difference for, you know, a regular collector, someone who isn't checking into all the details. And so it's extra risky. I still wanted to own one. I'm not against it, but you know, be mindful of that. Now, for some actual packages, what we did get in, I had already opened this, by the way, but extra exciting. Boom, boom, bam, we have a Change of Heart. Yes, Metal Raiders, first edition, Change of Heart right here. It's a PSA 9, not a 10. Would I like to own a 10? Absolutely. But I'm already shipping one off, actually, for grading. So maybe that's a 10. I don't want to have 2 10s. Well, actually, I wouldn't mind having like 10 10s of it, you know. Change of Heart, one of the most powerful Magic cards ever. Iconic as hell, been banned forever, gorgeous art. It has everything, and it is still, I don't know, I want to say cheap. Magic cards as a whole are very underrated, I feel, and so I had to pick this beauty up. It's also part of our Power 5, you know, you have the most broken Magic cards in Yu-Gi-Oh! History. 4 of them are from LOB, you know, Raigeki, Pot of Greed, Monster Reborn, Dark Hole, and then this one. Is that 5? So this is the only non-LOB Magic card that is part of that Power 5. Now some would say, oh, but then we also gotta add, you know, the MRL ones like Delinquent Duo, because those are broken as well. I got you, maybe we should make a list sometime. But this card is broken and iconic and gorgeous. It has everything going for it. Next up, another package. Hide the evidence on this one. So as I said before, I always want to open all my expensive packages on camera. In case anything is wrong, then the seller also has proof, or eBay or PayPal, that, hey, I was scammed in some way, and you'll have a much stronger case, you know, trying to get your money back than if you're just going, oh yeah, the package was empty, but I can't prove it to you. Here we go. So this was 2 cards. Let's go one by one. Boom bam. So we have a Heavy Storm once again. Metal Raiders first edition PSA 9. Would I like to own a 10? Absolutely. But the premium on 10s right now is so high. The market is crazy. Like, I'm toning down some of my 10 purchases because of how crazy things are. And the difference between some of these 9s and some of these 10s is so negligible. So I really just wanted to own this card. Metal Raiders. Once again, iconic broken card. I think a lot of Magic cards are extremely underpriced, and so had to own it. Look at that. Look at the foil on that baby. Holy hell. Love having this card. Hollow. Metal Raiders, second set ever, still minty, broken beyond belief, still banned, you know, it's part of Yu-Gi-Oh history, had to have it. And the second one, also very excited for this pickup, a Trap Hole. Same story, you know, we're talking about an LOB first edition card, a 9, so minty, and it was so cheap. It is criminal how cheap Trap Hole as a card still is. Is it a Blue Eyes? No. Does it have to be? No. Come on, every kid had this in their deck. Every single kid. Look at this card. I feel like when it comes to cards being valued and overvalued and undervalued, you know, monsters are the card that everyone loves. And then the second place is like Magic cards, and traps is the third place. And so for the longest time, every trap is like just not loved or well loved at all, except for Crush card, of course, duh. I guess Spellbinding Circle is also very high right now. We spoke about that on the Yu-Gi-Oh Cast podcast, but come on, LOB, super rare. People don't realize how hard it is to pull hollows out of LOB. So yeah, had to own one. Do I want a 10? Sure, but I'm plenty happy with my 9s as well. For the next package, this one comes straight from Japan. Damn, how do I fucking... This is some weird packaging. As you notice on these mail days, I buy a lot of cards pre-graded. I think the raw market as a whole has ran empty. There will be some deals here and there, you know. I've made a video on that, but because we are going through, I want to say, the first grading craze in Yu-Gi-Oh history, like for the longest time, you had your group of OGs, you know, the old school expert, Petty Party and so forth, doing all their grading on Yu-Gi-Oh, but you didn't have the craze, you didn't have all the groups going, should I grade this? Pokemon had their first, I want to say, grading craze in Pokemon Go era. Now, of course, grading was already a thing before that, sure, but when everyone went, should I grade this? That was Pokemon Go. And then the second one, now in COVID. And so Yu-Gi-Oh is now going through their first one. And that means every single person is going through Troll and Toad and eBay and Card Market and TCG Player and all of them, trying to get deals on Raws to then turn them into graded cards. But if everyone's doing that, then they're all overpriced, right? Because all the cheap ones are gone. And so I'm starting to buy a lot of 9s, because what I think will happen is a lot of people bought near mint cards, super cheap. And so the pop reports on 8s and below is gonna inflate more than ever before. Anything that I think is undervalued as fuck and is a 9, I just snag. Instantly, just like that. Now 10s, of course, if I find a good price 10, I will go for it. But I feel the 9s are criminally undervalued. And I shouldn't be saying this, because I still want to pick up plenty of these. Luckily, I think the channel is still small enough to a point where I can't have influence on prices too much or anything like that. At least that's what I would like to think. Like, BPT has been going crazy lately, and I did make a video on that, but I think that's more so because I was right, not that I like influenced the price on them in any way. Okay, wow, this person has do you see this? Has reinvented what shipping is supposed to be like. Honestly, I was waiting with this mail day for one more package, because there's a really epic one coming. I just could no longer wait. I wanted to see these beautiful babies, get them to the bank. Oh, okay, they shipped it straight in a PSA box. That's cute. It's weird, because in Japan, from what I've seen, usually people use BGS. I don't know why that is. If anyone knows, like, I'm not a Japanese citizen, so I'm not gonna claim that I know why, but it seems in Japan, usually it's BGS. And so having this package, like this PSA carton, would mean that the seller graded these themselves through PSA. So I would like to like know why they went through PSA. Was their goal to resell on the English market all along? I don't know. Interesting stuff. If you're a Japanese collector, let me know about your insights, you know, in the Japanese market for graded cards. Alrighty, here we go. At last, we have 2 cards. Holy shit, this video is gonna be long. Honestly, Japan is just giving me ad revenue at this point. Whenever people like are in Facebook groups like, oh, you're posting this with this title and this thumbnail, you just want ad revenue. Like, bitch, do you know how small ad revenue is? Doing a mail day like this, I'm losing like what? I'm losing maybe $2,000 on this mail day. as a video when it comes to ad revenue. So yeah, $2,000 for this mail day. My ad revenue is gonna be what? $10? Whoa. Whoa, watch out. The big stonks ad revenue. Crazy bullshit. Besides, I could just make a video going, should you invest in ghosts from the past? And make like 20 times more. So trust me, it's not about the ad revenue. So this card, boom, a Dark Hole. PSA 9 LOB first edition. If you've seen my partial collection video early on in the channel, I already have this in a 10 European. I just figured I want to have more of it. So yeah, beautiful card, LOB, super powerhouse, had to have it. Every kid had this in their deck, but usually the starter deck variant. So, you know, having the LOB, again, like, this was so cheap. It is criminal how cheap these are. I don't give financial advice on this channel, and I never predict prices, but when I'm paying $100 or $140 for a PSA 9 first edition LOB card, that's a holo? I don't know. That feels like death to me. But hey, maybe I'll be wrong, but I have a feeling that in a few years we'll be looking back and I'll be going, I could buy that for $100. Obviously, you have people out there who like stacked these, had like a billion PSA 9s of the old school stuff and think like, $100, cute, I got these for 30 or whatever. And I get it, but I don't know, I still think these are cheap as fuck. Again though, 10s are better, you know. But I think as this market matures, people will realize, fuck, 10s are even more rare than we thought. Not everyone has 10s. 10s are just gonna go higher and higher and higher. People will be priced out and 9s are next in line. We've seen it in Pokemon. We've seen it in Magic. We've seen it everywhere. Like in basketball, the vintage basketball, people are like, wow, you got a 6? Like, of course, grading also came way too late for them, and so natural attrition decreased populations on those, and so obviously, like, 6s are more rare on some of those cards as well, but still, it's interesting, it's interesting. I think I'm still getting insane steals here. And then for the final card this mail day, there we go. This card is a baby. A Delinquent Duo PSA 10 first edition from Magic Ruler. Again, we're talking old school, vintage card, first edition, perfect condition, or well, close to perfect. It's a PSA 10. I didn't notice any like major issues as far as condition goes. You could say the centering is slightly off left to right on the back, but you know, it's still within the region that makes it okay. Once again, Magic cards, super fucking undervalued in my opinion. This card is so broken. It was banned and never came back. That's how good it is. If you draw this in Go, you should go like, oh cool, I won. Crazy. Obviously, not really, but it does put you ahead so much. This card is insane. When it comes to historic value for the player base, I don't know. I think this is a major deal. Now, do note, for the longest time, Magic Ruler was very available. And so the pop on these is definitely not as tiny and will not stay as tiny as some of these other cards out there. But regardless, you know, I feel quite safe with my 10 pickup here. Beautiful card. Just the iconic value for the player base makes this a pickup for me. And again, if we go back to that whole idea of the Power 5, if you then want to expand that with the broken cards in Magic Ruler, this is the king of broken cards in Magic Ruler. So going back through these pickups again, we have our Revival Gem, we have our Blue Eyes from LOB, we have our Change of Heart, we have our Heavy Storm, Trap Hole, Dark Hole, Delinquent Duo right here. Very happy with this pickup. Amazing mail day in my opinion. Hope you found this interesting. Like, subscribe, and I will see you soon. Ciao.